So ExxonMobil operates at extraordinary scale. And what was happening in the business that made it clear the company needed to rethink its operating model, and how did simplifying processes, aligning technologies enable that?
Yeah, it's a really great question, and you're absolutely right about the scale we operate in. Everybody thinks about the gas station. And my first car was a Renault, by the way. Not many people will know what that was in this room, but we do so much more, right? Truly global company. Not only do we have the oil and gas business, we have the plastics business, we have a lot of innovation in our products. And what we have been seeing over the last several years is our industry is one that is seeing a lot more change in its future than it's had in its past. So we've been around 150 years, essentially doing the same thing very, very reliably, very efficiently. But you know, as the energy transition takes place, we're looking to different business models, different decisions that have to be made. And when we stepped back as a corporation and thought about how we would actually operate in that environment, we realized that we needed a fundamental strategic shift to become a much more nimble organization. Simplify the organizational structure within the corporation that had grown up over the years. And then once you do that, to aid the decision making, we also had to do something with our processes and absolutely with our data, which was fragmented and difficult to get, and every question was a science project, as I'm sure some of us have shared here on the couch. And so that was kind of the rationale. We want to be able to get to decisions faster so we can react to the market faster, and so we can pivot as we see the world evolve around us. And that is really why we started this transformation, business-led transformation, to fundamentally revisit our processes and revisit our data. Now, we've been around a long time, 150 years, and we had been really good at building IT systems. And we have a long partnership with SAP, and so we had a very large installed base of SAP, which we had improved significantly with customizations. And I discovered earlier this week, actually, Jan is responsible for some of those customization in
long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
The good thing is that they're now gone.
So now he's helping us get rid of them. But yeah, I mean, that is what fundamentally drove the need to do a true transformation at scale across all of ExxonMobil.
Yeah, I mean, Bill, it's actually interesting when you talk about these years of building these systems and customization, but you also mentioned that you want to become more nimble and everything, which also led, when you had the clarity where the business wanted to go, a lot of focus on simplification and standardization, including all the work what you did with the processes, consistent processes, the clean core activities. How did SAP help you on that journey?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Thomas. You know, when we thought about how are we going to go and actually attack this problem, we were concerned that we had a lot of inbuilt knowledge, a lot of sort of anchoring in our past in the organization. And as you say, we really wanted to transform away to what we would call industry standard processes, using technology to do what it was designed to do, not trying to improve on it. And as you say, get to clean core, because at the end of the day, we're trying to future-proof our environment. And so we want to be upgrade stable. We want to be able to take new capabilities like AI as they become established in the marketplace, and not have that be a heavy lift for us as it is in today's environment. So thinking about our partners was a really important first step on this journey. SAP, as you know, we've been close partners for many, many decades, and it was obvious you were going to be part of this journey. We also were pleased, I think, to find that both our companies were kind of strategically aligned in the direction of travel. And so not only were we wanting to transform our business processes, we wanted to get off a ExxonMobil data center driven on-prem environment to cloud-based, and that's when we started to talk to you about RISE. We aligned on that's the direction of travel we want to go. We also wanted a really trusted partner who could hold a straight line to us when we began to convince ourselves that maybe we couldn't quite adopt industry standard. And so that was part of the relationship, that you brought that to us. You gave us points of view on how this is done in other places and why it would work at ExxonMobil. And then frankly, as you all know, there are some areas where there were gaps and we needed to, we did the customizations because we had to. And so, driving that product roadmap, I think that has been a real partnership as well. So SAP brings a very large amount to this undertaking.
And you mentioned AI, obviously lots of excitement about AI, but you've taken a very deliberate approach. So maybe you can share a little bit about the role of data as a foundation and why this is so essential from your perspective before AI can really have an impact.
Yeah, I mean, the transformation we're doing is first and foremost about the data. Right? Data is the asset which has been trapped. And so what we really want to do, I'm sure you do as well, we're really wanting to release that. And we believe that it is important that we spend the time to get that foundation right. I really liked what the gentleman from JP Morgan said yesterday, completely aligned with that. If we can't get this foundation right, we will pay the price for that, ever more. So yes, there's a lot of AI hype just now, and we are doing some AI stuff, but I think that we are happy to let that carry on over here on the side a little bit. Let's get our fundamentals absolutely solid, and that will put us in a really sound place, clean core, upgrade stable. We will be able to take and fully leverage whatever comes down the pike.
Yeah. No, and I mean, your transformation, I said it at the beginning, is ginormous. It's probably pretty unique, a greenfield approach with that kind of a complexity. But maybe finally you want to share some thoughts, leadership lessons learned that you can share with the audience, and some of them are certainly at the same point in time.
Yeah, well, it may not be obvious to everybody in the room, but I live in Texas. So, as we say in Texas, this is not my first rodeo. So I have a few lessons I've learned over the years, and we've baked into this. But, I would say there's kind of three things that are really, really important when you're taking on a massive transformation like this. One is being super clear about what your strategy is. What is the strategic intent, and ensuring that your leadership across the corporation is aligned behind that. Then you need to put in place really strong governance. Right? There are lots and lots of decisions that need to be made, and they need to be made quickly, and they need to be made consistent with that strategy. And when you have thousands of people employed in the transformation, that can be a problem if you don't have that governance in place. And then, picking the right partners. That is really important. Picking partners who don't just see this as a job, but see this as a win-win, and we can grow together through that transformation. I would say those are the fundamental things.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Bill, for sharing that here with the audience. And Thomas, what's your key takeaway from the Exxon story?
I mean, from my side, again, we talk about leadership. It requires leadership to do all of that. But then think about the scale. ExxonMobil capable to standardize radically, to build this foundation to really then take AI to the next level. And that's actually striking to me. So I think it's a great example of what can be done, actually. And I love what you said. It's because it's also about the trusted partnership which we want to establish also as part of our engagement, which I think is a common theme here on this couch as well, because SAP wants to be more than just a vendor, because we're so central in this business operations of all these large phenomenal companies.